Hi everyone, Gnev here. You've waited for it for a long time, and finally I've gathered the best tanks I know to make this tier list possible. So if you like to get hit, and you're getting ready to pick your big boy pants up in Wrath of the Lich King, I hope this list helps you. So without further ado, let's begin with the Blood DK. DKs are known for their single target threat, which comes mostly from Icy Touch. You open the fight with 7 Icy Touches and you can just go AFK, make a coffee for yourself and come back in a few minutes with the boss still being on you. Their AoE threat holding is also really good on big packs, where you can throw down a D&D and spread your diseases on as many mobs as there are. You will struggle on small to medium packs while learning the class in dungeons, but you shouldn't have much trouble once you get used to your DK. They also have incredible defensive cooldowns, with spells such as IBF, Anti-Magic Shell, Vampiric Blood, Blood Tap with the 4-set bonus, and Army of the Dead. Not only are these cooldowns very powerful, but they also have extremely short cooldowns, so you'll never find yourself missing a death. They also provide a lot of utility to the raid, as most DK tanks run the improved Icy Talons talent, which improves your whole raid's melee haste. And we can't of course forget about Hysteria. The DK was the first tank I picked up in the game, and I couldn't be happier with my choice, as they are fairly simple to learn, extremely powerful, and they just look so damn cool. So if you're looking to be a main tank in Wrath, you won't make a mistake with the Blood DK. A tier. Next, let's look at the Protection Warrior. They've had their spotlight by being by far the best tanks in Classic and TBC, so Blizzard had to put a cap in their ass in Wrath. Warrior's defensive cooldowns consist of their Shield Wall, Last Stand, Shield Block, and Blood Rage, which are by far the worst self-deaths in the game. This is because their cooldowns are just too long, and even though they can be glyphed, most of the time you'll just get a weaker version of a DK's defensive with a longer cooldown. Another big problem with warriors is that everything they can do, a paladin can do better. Their utility is not that great, and the only thing they're good at is for stacking Sunders with Devastate, but your Fury warriors will do that anyway. Not to bash on them too hard, one job they're famously good at is holding the little lads in the Ruby Sanctum, because they have the 40-second shield block and their AoE stun with Shockwave. Unfortunately, you'll be really shooting yourself in the foot if you pick a Protection Warrior as your main, but if you really enjoy their gameplay or aesthetic, and if you're skilled enough, you might have luck with a hardcore guild picking you up in their roster. Warriors get a C. Next, let's look at the bears. Feral druids are famous for their huge HP pools, but they suffer from a lot of the same problems as warriors. They're usually brought as main tanks, but they can't really compete with the DK's threat generation. So if you aren't geared as a bear, you'll probably struggle with those pesky mages trying their best to make you look like a fool. They do have powerful defensive cooldowns and survival instincts, frenzied regeneration, and short cooldowns such as Barkskin and Enrage. But the problem is, they don't really provide anything to the raid that the cat doesn't. If you take a bear to RDF though, I'm sure you'll have a blast, as their damage is unparalleled by other tanks. What I love to do is just pick up my DBW and STS and blast through the dungeon, pulling the whole raid with me. So even though bears can do it all, you'll probably struggle quite a bit when learning them. And even though you won't get invited to many raids, once you master the bear, and once you get a guild to recognize that, people will be lining up for you to main tank their raid. B tier. Last but not least, we have the Protection Paladin. Palas are widely thought of as the strongest tanks in Wrath of the Lich King, And that isn't without reason. They have a cheat death in Argent Defender. They have Divine Sacrifice for the entire raid, strong personal defensives, a lot of stuns, and a lot of external cooldowns, such as Hand of Sacrifice. There really aren't too many things they can't do. Where Paladins truly shine though is in solo tanking situations, such as on the Bane of the Fallen King fight and on small to medium packs in RDF Heroic. I remember gearing up my Paladin in 2 ICC rounds without spending more than 100 DKP, so they're also incredibly easy to gear up. What's not easy, however, is actually executing them properly on the Lich King fight. I remember making so many mistakes when I was first learning to play my Protection Paladin that my guild made me respec the Holy time and time again, and I would bother them until they gave me a few tries each week before I finally nailed it. I can say without a doubt that the hardest thing I did in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion was off-tanking the LOD fight on my Prot Paladin, so heads down to you tanks that do that shit clean every week. So if you're looking to be invited to every raid and to be extremely useful during the whole expansion, don't stray too far away from the Protection Paladin. S. That's it for the list. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you'd like to see similar ones in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.